Even though football players make millions, sometimes they make mistakes that cost them everything. Car accidents, illegal mansions, robbed at gunpoint. These are mistakes that cost football players millions. And sometimes losing money can happen in another universe, like it did to Neymar. It started off as a mutant ape that cost $25,000, eventually led him to collecting over 60 more NFTs, including not one, but 2 bored apes that are worth around $500,000 each. That's over $1 million in some damn profile pics. But Neymar didn't see it as a problem until everything came crashing down. Right after he let the world know about his purchases, the hype around NFTs disappeared and crypto prices began tanking. Rumors came out that most NFT projects would drop all the way to $0. And within months, one of Neymar's most expensive apes that he bought for $500,000 was only worth $100,000. But to make the situation even worse, the Bored Ape project then started being accused of having celebrities like Neymar promote their NFTs at inflated prices to make them worth more than they actually were, and were being sued for $4 billion. The reputation of this project is now forever ruined. So if the price is crashing, don't make Neymar's NFT investment lose him over $1 million. Legal issues might, but at least that wasn't as bad as losing millions and nearly costing someone their life, like Cristiano Ronaldo's purchase. Ronaldo's been known to have every ride imaginable, but his favorite purchase was a Bugatti Veyron that cost him $2 million. So this car went viral every time it hit the streets, which seemed like a good thing, till Ronaldo was on a family vacation, having the time of his life, but all he could think about was his Bugatti. So he actually ordered a yacht to bring it all the way across the ocean and drop it off at the island just so he couldn't wait till he was back home to drive it. But Ronaldo made a huge mistake. He let his assistant go pick it up to bring it to him. And at first, driving it was going smooth. But a car that goes 0 to 100 in 3 seconds isn't something they were used to. And all of a sudden, they crashed Ronaldo's Bugatti and it was completely totaled. But not only that, it smashed into the wall of somebody's house and ruined their entire property. So as the car was towed away, Ronaldo knew this was more than a $2 million problem. Apparently the accident ripped a water meter out of place. A door flew off its hinges. 2 concrete columns were knocked down, and the family's dog was shaking with fear. So Ronaldo told him to get everything fixed, keep the invoices, and he'd pay for all the damage the Bugatti caused. But at least he only lost a few M's, cause Lionel Messi lost 5 times as much buying something illegal. Messi had just traveled to one of his favorite places in the world, Ibiza. But he wasn't just here for vacation. He was shopping for his dream home, and eventually, he pulled up to this. This is Messi's paradise, and it had everything a superstar needs. That's why it cost him $11 million. But right after he signed the paperwork, Messi became a suspect in a high-profile crime. The government claimed that his new house was illegal. Apparently, Messi bought this crib from a shady businessman who was keeping secrets behind the government's back. When he bought the mansion, it was originally only built with 4 bedrooms, but he eventually made his property bigger and added 2 more rooms without the government knowing. So there was no legal planning. He didn't get the building permits, and he didn't even have the certificate that allowed anybody to live in the house, which are all required in Spain. But it wasn't until the mansion got put up for sale and Messi made his purchase that anybody realized the problem. So Messi couldn't even live in his new house until he got the situation figured out. And even though he had his lawyers fight the case, the only option was for him to demolish half of his house. Damn. Messi really spent $11 million just for his purchase to get destroyed. But Paul Pogba's millions got him held at gunpoint. Pogba was the least you'd expect to be faced with a life or death situation. I mean, once he signed contracts worth millions of dollars, he started sending money to his family in France, letting friends live in his house for free, and taking care of everybody close to him for over a decade. But one day, Pogba's generosity got him taken advantage of. Pogba was told that someone close to him stole his credit card and bought something for $200,000. So Pogba lost his trust in everybody, stopped helping his entourage, and kicked everyone out to focus on himself. But that's when things turned deadly. One night, some criminals pulled up to Pogba's crib and knocked at his door. But when Pogba answered, he was looking down the barrel of a gun. They forced him into a car, took him to a secret location, and that's where they told Pogba that if he didn't send them $13 million, they'd kill him. So obviously he paid the price, and they let him go. That transaction may have kept Pogba alive, but it turned out he knew exactly who abducted him. Pogba recognized the voices, so he called the police, told them it was his childhood friend and his own brother, Matthias. So it wasn't long before the situation made headlines everywhere.
We now know from what the police investigation both in France and in Italy that Matthias Pogba and some childhood friends have tried to get some money off Paul Pogba. There have been some threats, they came to his house.
And after this story broke the news, Pogba's brother was eventually arrested for armed abduction and extortion. So Pogba's mistake was just doing too much for the wrong people, but he lost a lot more than 13 million. It cost him his brother and his friend. But that's not as bad as Zlatan Ibrahimovic losing over $20 million just chasing his childhood dream. Zlatan became a legend, playing football at the highest level for over 15 years, so he thought he couldn't fail at anything. And now racking in millions of dollars, he decided to invest it into something that he dreamed of owning since he was a kid.
I've been working with big companies. I've been training in a lot of different clothes, and to have your own clothes, it's like a dream also.
And not long after, Zlatan made things official, dropping his very own clothing line named A to Z Sportswear, which stood for amateur to Zlatan. He made these products affordable to everybody and made sure the world knew all about them. Zlatan began repping his clothes during interviews, all over Instagram, and even dropped some of the corniest skits in YouTube history while wearing the clothes.
Why don't we say just good boxers, and just like that?
But jokes like that had nobody taking his brand seriously. So it wasn't long before Zlatan began losing millions. He initially planned for his brand to become the next Nike or Adidas. And without even testing the market, he began having his products designed with high quality materials, which made everything expensive. But even though he kept promoting the clothes, after all, it was basically just products with an A to Z logo. So fans never really felt like buying his clothes, cause nothing about them was unique. And it wasn't long before Zlatan started losing $2 million every month. Then out of nowhere, on the brand's official Instagram, they made 3 interesting posts that they began having 50% off sales. But even with this deal, it was obvious the traction never picked up, cause they made one final announcement, a thank you for everything, and that there was only one more chance to buy any of the merch before the site shut down for good. Within days, the site not only disappeared, Zlatan was forced to give up on his dream that lost him over $22 million. Or maybe the 22 million lost Zlatan. Anyways, at least none of these players lost money because of their body parts. Vinicius Jr. lost millions because of his feet? For decades, all of Brazil's biggest stars have been sponsored by one brand, Nike. And once the brand heard about a young rising star, Vinicius Jr., they instantly signed him to a 10-year, $75 million contract. Football was going well, and now he had guaranteed money, so he thought he could focus on becoming great while being a key piece of their brand. But as fast as everything was going up for Vinny, Nike made it all come crashing down. Once Vinny signed with one of the most prestigious clubs in football, Real Madrid, it was a turning point in his career for him to go from a star to a superstar. But Nike didn't like that, because the club Vinny joined was sponsored by their biggest rival, Adidas. Nike now felt if they gave Vinny any type of opportunity to be in the spotlight, it was giving their biggest competition recognition. So Nike started doing everything they could to slow down Vinny's path to becoming a worldwide icon. It all started during Real Madrid's run in the Champions League, when Vinny put on for his squad, scoring 4 goals in 6 matches and carried them to first place. But during Vinny's entire run, he only received outdated models of Nike's cleats, like these Mercurials, rather than Nike letting him debut their new products. It seemed like they were only sending him older models to limit how much attention he'd get. But with Nike being a company worth billions, it seemed like Vinny was being blackballed. And after this incident, Nike took the situation global. November 24th, 2022. It was time for football's biggest event, the World Cup. So what better time for Nike to drop one of their biggest commercials ever? The problem was, throughout the video, you could see a bunch of other Nike athletes. They even allowed Phil Foden, who's on a smaller Nike deal, to show up for a cameo. But their most popular Brazilian star, Vini, was nowhere to be found. The messed up part was, this became one of Nike's biggest World Cup commercials ever, racking up 8 million views. So it could have been a huge opportunity for Vini to gain some fans. But maybe him not being in the commercial was a coincidence. Or at least that's what I thought, till Nike dropped a second commercial, which featured Vini's less popular teammate, Rodrigo, and another video debuting Brazil's new World Cup kits, with a video of pretty much every single Brazilian star other than Vini. So after not being able to star in viral commercials and getting outdated equipment, Vini felt that any day now, Nike was gonna drop him. So instead of letting him make headlines for releasing it, Vini just did it. It was made public that he was pissed and looking to end his partnership. Even fans claimed that they felt his contract was outdated because he's added millions of followers to his social medias. He's not getting enough attention from them for the star he's become, and he's been wearing old models of their boots. So not long after, Vini got his lawyers on the case, and they fought to get him out of his contract. But this decision will have Vini losing $45 million. Only thing worse than that is nearly losing your life, like Lionel Messi when he had a rare illness, or the time his millions of dollars had him facing jail time. So just click this video, man.